Okay, let's get started here. Hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm Arkart, and today we are trying out a new game. Game being this one called uh, Dungeons 2. I don't know too much about this game. I think it's about building dungeons. I know there's like a lot of them. There's like a third one and maybe a fourth one too. But anyway, we are going to try it out and yeah, see how it goes. So. I think the sound is set up. If not, let me know. But let's jump right into it. Shall do a
It
campaign
was
here.
time. The troops of the Absolute Evil had driven the Alliance back to their capital, King's Ending. The time for the final battle had arrived. Prepare to destroy the Alliance, and with it, all good in the land once and for all.
Alright, sounds good. Battle for King's Ending.
Once upon a time, there was a kingdom full of flowers and rainbows, where the sun shone all the time and there was loads of that goody-goody, lovey-dovey good people stuff going on. There, the alliance of abominably good people lived in unearned wealth and prosperity. But there was a path leading to a different place there. At the end of this path was a rock. There was a cave carved in this rock in which the absolute evil lived. It wasn't a grubby, damp cave smelling of muck and mildew, but a deep, dark dungeon, so dark that even darkness itself was afraid of it.
Okay, very dark.
It was home to numerous innocent monsters who enjoyed a happy, contented existence, living in complete harmony with their environment. But time and again, the sickening, sweet-smelling good visited this underworld in search of treasure and experience points. Many monsters found this to be the death of them, but much worse, the absolute evil's treasures were being stolen. One day, just as a few more heroes had finished plundering its dungeon, the absolute evil decided it had had enough, and decided to do something new, something quite monstrous. Go to the surface. The Alliance tried to resist, but the approaching horde just flowed over them like an angry wave of axes, teeth, and bad breath. After numerous unrelenting battles, the absolute evil finally stood before the Alliance's capital, King's Ending.
See, barge disable traps, storm warriors, something.
After countless battles, the forces of the absolute evil reached the Alliance capital, King's Ending. The lovable remnants of the forces of good had come here to make ready for the final battle. Evil would pay a high price indeed to storm those fortress walls, or so they thought. Suddenly, a rumble rose from deep within the earth. Stones burst asunder, revealing an ancient path into the depths. Out of the depths of Stygian darkness arises the invincible evil. With earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable evil began its trek towards the front. In the terribly improbable event that it may have forgotten how that works, a formidable help function has been provided.
Okay. Where are we going here?
The presence of the absolute evil was also reflected in the land itself. Grass withered, and in places, the ground tore open to reveal bubbling lava. Even the forest could not withstand the aura of the ultimate evil, and beat a hasty retreat.
Alright, we are walking here.
A few of the Alliance units had entrenched themselves here. A determined absolute evil marched towards them in order to strike them down with its mighty weapon.
attack hostile unit. When you have selected one or more units, you can attack an opponent by right-clicking on it. Alternately, select the attack command in the action window and indicate the target by left-clicking on it. When selecting or moving, select the unit by left-clicking on it, or alternatively by holding down the left mouse button and drawing a box around it. And right-click on the desired location. Alternatively, select the command go to in the action window and left-click on the target location. Yeah, sure. Right-click. Do they attack automatically? Attacks automatically. Oh, what is this? Pick up the badge.
Evil had discovered a medal. His legendary award ensured a creature could be made even more powerful. Only one downside. Eyes ablaze with greed, the insidious evil gazed upon the blood-drenched battlefield. Here the last defenders of good would die, and an age of evil. Projectiles from the Alliance's catapults darkened the sky, but the Horde's fighting skills were at their best in darkness, if they survived. The forces of good never had a chance against the absolute evil.
Crush the western encampment, crush the eastern encampment. Okay. Guess we'll do that.
Nothing and no one could stop the invincible evil.
I guess we'll crush this one first. Killing everything here.
Absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the west with the greatest of ease. Now, only one tiny camp offers any resistance to the absurdly evil evil. And even that won't be able to hold out for much longer.
That is right over here. Alright, so far it's looking like an RTS game.
The forces of good never had a chance against the absolute evil. The absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the east with the greatest of ease. The defenders in front of the city had been beaten to a pulp and defeated. Now the time had come to attack King's Ending, the final battle begins.
Spawner buildings at regular intervals. Heroes march out of Alliance buildings with illuminated entrances that head directly towards your dungeon. Destroy those buildings. Okay. We have done that. Onwards to King's Ending.
The city gate was firmly barricaded by the Alliance's archers, but the absolute evil would not allow itself to be held out by such a ridiculous impediment. So, go get them! Destroy them now! Oh yes, sorry, stay in character. The absolute evil used its all-powerful magic to eliminate the archers and open the gate to the city.
This guy sort of reminds me of the narrator from the Stanley Parable. Wonder if it's the same guy. Using skills. Units may have one or more active skills that can be selected via the action window. Select the primeval and have a look at the action window on the bottom right to find out more about the skills or simply to try them out. Alright. Where am I? I do have a skill here. Spike Wave.
Using its legend, wait for it, dairy powers, the absolute evil destroyed the impediment with ease and simultaneously eliminated a whole group of defenders. True story. The road to the capital was now clear. The absolute evil did not hesitate for even 1 nanosecond. Actually, the cowardly evil did hesitate. What would have waited in the city? The insidious evil entered King's Ending. A small, pitiful group of defenders stood in its way. Suddenly, the doors of several houses in the city opened, and with a loud roar, defenders bore down on the rather surprised evil. An ambush.
Okay. A house of houses here. Kaboom. What else can we destroy? Can we destroy everything? Alright, I think that's the last thing we have to destroy, but... oh no wait, there's some stuff down here we can destroy. Does look like that's about it. Is this thing that I can supposedly attack? No. Alright. Let's finish it off.
The invincible evil had crushed the defenders. King's Ending had been defeated. At least, that's what it thought. Suddenly, the final heroes of the Alliance emerged from nowhere. Another ambush? Now, this was becoming very boring. But wait, this time it was different. Instead, the heroes raised their hands and started singing an incomprehensible chant. A magical ritual? This did not bode well. Well, actually, it bode the arrival of good things, great things, unless you happen to be the absolute evil.
Alright.
Somewhere in the depths of the dungeon, the ultimate evil awoke. It did not know what had happened, nor why it had awoken, but it longed for revenge.
Alright, revenge, a new hope.
The last remaining heroes of the country joined forces and cast a powerful banishment spell. The absolute evil disappeared from sight with a threatening gesture, and a faint whispered, "I'll be back," could be heard, coming from its lips. The absolute evil had been banished, and its essence shattered into several pieces. Its reign of terror had ended. The good people of the overworld rejoiced, and an era of peace began for the Alliance. The evil creatures were driven back into the underground, doomed to serve as cannon fodder for pleasure-seeking adventurers. Meanwhile, secreted away in the world's most inaccessible places, the last remains of the absolute evil were resting, never again to see the light of the overworld. Until today, that is. Somewhere deep under the earth, the ultimate evil awoke.
Alright, you're the ultimate evil. What are we doing here?
And the hand of terror arose, controlled by the ultimate evil. Come on, hand of terror, arise, damn you! Methinks that exploring the surrounding area would be a sensible strategy. However, to do this, light would be required. Still not bright enough. An old throne room was revealed by the light. The circumstances remained a mystery. The hand of terror flew through the throne room, following each and every thought the ultimate evil had. After a few flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with ease. The time had come to call forth creatures who were completely devoted to it and would do its dirty work. Little snots were the dregs of each and every dungeon and spent their time taking care of it. The expansion-mad evil hired one snot on the spot.
Alright, hire a creature, hire little snot. First of all, select your throne room by left-clicking in the room. Now select hire little snot in the action window. And, how big is this? This area is pretty big. You can see it around here. So,
After very careful consideration, the ultimate evil now decided to recruit a little snot.
What if I don't recruit the little snot? Alright, fine. See, little snots are small, cute creatures that do all the dirty work in your dungeon. Whether you need gold mine, beer brute, or
The mentally
toilets,
somewhat
cream.
challenged evil apparently was having a few problems focusing on the current task at hand. But then suddenly, the moment came when it hired a little snot.
Maybe in a bit. Or toilets clean, little snots are what you need. Other monsters in the Horde love to use these dispensable workers to reduce their boredom levels after a hard day's work. Will this guy still be unhappy with me if I decide to not build the little snot? Alright, what is this? Evilness. Shows how much evilness you have accrued and how much more you will require for the next level. Okay. I'll just mess with the controls a bit. Alright, how about if I do this? Can I save? Can't save here. Alright, let's get through this.
The first little snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its little snots to dig in that direction.
Population points. Even an evil genius such as yourself can only control a certain number of creatures. This is shown by the population points at the top, in the middle. If you have reached the maximum limit, you will not be able to hire any additional creatures unless you first dismiss one. You can do this by picking up a creature and throwing it into the pit in your throne room. And excavation, you can instruct your little snots to excavate areas in the dungeon. To do so, left click on a tile or hold down left mouse button to mark an entire area. Selecting an already selected area for a second time deselects it. Alright, where do they want me to excavate here?
As quick as a fart, the little snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig. Behold, the creatures of the overjoyed evil had apparently been much more industrious than it had thought. A great dungeon was revealed behind the wall. Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Oh, wait. Treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One can't expect too much of these mindless little snots. First of all, some gold had to be dug out to make space for a treasury to be created. The Hand of Terror swiftly marked a few small gold veins so that the little snots could excavate them. As soon as a gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil.
Oh, we got lots of them now. Look at him bring back that gold. Could build more if I wanted to. I will not for now.
Once most of the gold had been mined, the Hand of Terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored.
Build a treasury. Alright, how do I do that? Types of gold. You will come across two types of gold: underground gold veins and rich gold veins. Gold veins can be removed quickly, much in the same way as normal gold, and provide you with a quick boost of gold for a short period of time. Rich gold veins last a longer period of time, but only provide small amounts of gold each time. Why don't I have these guys mine it then? There you go. And building a room. Alright, first of all, deselect everything you have selected. Now in the action window, select the rooms menu, and in this menu, select treasury. Note that production facilities generally require a work unit in order to function. To build a work unit, select the room and then the work unit in the action window. You will then be able to place it freely in the room. Alright, so don't select anything. Rooms, treasury. Where do we want to build it? I mean, like, where should we build our treasury? Here? It's supposed to be bigger than this? And that guy's gonna go build a treasury soon. I don't know how big my treasury is supposed to be. Which guy's gonna... Alright, you need to do it. Oh. Okay, that doesn't seem
The dungeon was
correct.
still without a treasury. The ultimate evil was poking around in the user manual again. It would surely be much faster and easier to make use of the help function instead.
How much gold do I have here? Is this a treasury? How big is it supposed to be? I don't know. Alright, Alright, this seems like a treasury, right? Looks nice. Or do they want me to build it like right here?
The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, Little Snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. Little Snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs.
In that case, let me try to just make the treasury in that area to see if that's the case. That's all they wanted. Not waste my time building that treasury over there.
The first Little Snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little Snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south.
Psionically gifted.
To dig in that direction. As quick as a fart, the little snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig. Behold, the creatures of the overjoyed evil had apparently been much more industrious than it had thought. A great dungeon was revealed behind the wall. Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Wait, treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One can't expect too much of these mindless little snots. First of all, some gold had to be dug out to make space for a treasury to be created. The hand of terror swiftly marked a few small gold veins so that the little snots could excavate. As soon as the gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil.
Alright. I wonder if there's a way to speed up the game. Alright, so the gold's on the top left. Max gold is 1,000. We also have mana.
Once most of the gold had been mined, the Hand of Terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored.
I see. So they did want me to create it right here.
The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, little snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. Little snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs. But they would require food. Liquid food. Well, beer to be precise. So the next important thing to build was a brewery. And that would require some space to be created. The ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work. Might a hearty slap from the Hand of Terror change
Whacking
that?
units. You can also whack your units with the Hand of Terror in order to motivate them to work faster and emphasize priority of a particular task. The unit you whack will work more effectively for a short period of time but lose a little of its life force. Whack a unit, right click on it.
The sadistic evil encouraged its creature to work a little faster, with a friendly but not at all gentle slap.
That's right, go faster. Seem pretty slow here. Pretty sure you can do better.
There was now an area cleared for the brewery site, and with quick finger snaps from the Hand of Terror, the room stood ready.
Alright, let us build a brewery.
Excellent. But the recently built brewery lacked a brewing copper. With a sigh of resignation, the overworked evil set about taking care of that too.
Copper? What? Put a brew kettle into the brewery. How do I do that? Oh wait, build a brew kettle. Sure. Where do I want to put it
The
here?
hard-working evil effortlessly built a brewing copper so that delicious beer could be brewed as soon as possible. One of the little snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon, so it was time to...
Many efficiency rooms have an efficiency rating that shows how well work can be performed inside. You should try to ensure that a room is surrounded by walls as far as possible and that they have ideally also been upgraded.
hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around underground. At present, it was only simple orcs declaring undying loyalty to the ultimate evil. The rest of the world was scattered to the winds. Orcs were defensive close combat specialists, capable of dealing with many opponents. However, they were very vulnerable to ranged attacks.
Oh, I got doing something.
Payday! An eerie gong rang through the halls. It did not bode well for the ultimate evil's treasury stocks, for at each sounding of the gong,
5
the
orcs.
creatures would collect their undeserved wages. However, there was little it could do about this, as it was chained to the throne. Thus, it had to give free rein to its servants' desires, for the time being at least.
Okay, we're gonna need one more orc. not have enough gold right now.
Suddenly, one of the repellent evil's servants became very thirsty. This was typical of a troop member of the unanonymous alcoholics known as the Horde. The Dipso made his way to the nearest brewery to quench his thirst. A thirsty orc arrived at the brewery. Eager and slavering, he started demolishing the alcohol-hoarding evil's stock of beer.
Okay.
One louse-infested orc crawled up from the depths and declared allegiance to the ultimate evil. The first step towards the creation of a powerful army had been taken. The dungeon of the expansion-mad evil grew and prospered, but unfortunately, it had reached the maximum possible population it could currently manage. Now a creature would have to be thrown into the bottomless pit before any others could be brought in. The profound evil had had enough of dungeon sightseeing and now wanted to move to the surface to try a dish that is best served cold. Revenge. Some Alliance members were bound to be guarding the entrance to the overworld. A fine appetizer for a vengeful evil.
Relation points, okay. Dismiss the creature. Alright, let's get rid of... no, this... You? No. What? I thought I could... There we go.
The creature disappeared into the pit of uselessness with a long, drawn, and gradually diminishing. This particular act of wickedness brought a smile to the face of the ultimate evil.
These orcs are just building walls, I guess.
Nameless evil's creatures came upon a spider's nest during their search for an entrance to the overworld. It would take more than one orc to smoke that out. The abysmal evil used the Hand of Terror to grab several of the creatures that were still completely inexperienced at fighting and threw them onto the spider's nest.
Alright, let's do that. I can just grab them from here. That's helpful.
The spiders dropped like flies. The strategically well-versed evil patted itself on the back, proud that it had led its troops into battle with such aplomb. And by led, I just simply mean chucking them at the enemy. The basics of a dungeon were now in place. However, the brewery was puny and didn't really have room to store beer barrels in, and the treasury was also anything but impressive in size. Quickly, the expansion-hungry evil set out to enlarge its dungeon.
Okay, build more treasuries. Okay, let's do that. Expand my brewery, so these are more treasuries, I guess. And, what's
The
this?
evil has awoken, but its brothers are still asleep.
Huh? What on earth was that? That's not in my script. What a weirdo. No matter. We'd better get back to concentrating on the dungeon.
How do I build a bigger brewery? That is the question. Or how do I expand it? guess we'll just make it bigger. It looks like it can like sort of be bigger if I do this.
It's payday.
Okay. Yeah, I know. He's thirsty. Give me some time here. Oops. Okay. Now, I do need to keep digging south a bit, so I'll do that as well.
A huge monstrosity loomed out of the darkness on 8 legs. This dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now it was home to a huge spider and her brood. Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the ring bearer? Hang on a minute, that's not the right text. Where were we? Oh yes, a huge spider, henceforth called the Spider Queen. It would be necessary to eliminate the Spider Queen before the horde could reach the surface. The Spider Queen sent forth a wave of her children. Of course, the ultimate evil was fully aware of this danger and immediately prepared to defend itself against them. At least, that's what I hope.
Okay. Alright, orcs, what are you doing? Destroy the Spider Queen. What is the Spider Queen now?
And another wave of spiders set out to destroy the ultimate evil. The dungeon of the ultimate evil was full of gelatinous cubes, invisible gelatinous cubes.
Good. Keep fighting. Oh, I lost an orc.
The vile perversion, once called the Spider Queen, had nothing more with which she could fight the horde. Later, the sensitive evil would have her innards made into a lava lamp. The way to the surface was open. Now it was time to put those vengeance plans into practice. The vile evil wanted to take this opportunity to utter a really sinister laugh. But unfortunately, its physical state made this unviable. Instead, it asked the narrator to do a bit of sinister laughter on its behalf. Oh well, here goes. Deep breath.
Not bad. Not
Once the
bad
ultimate
at all.
evil had escaped from the depths, still fettered to the throne, it traveled to wreak terrible vengeance on those who had done this, heavily supported by its little snots. The first target was Paladin Robert, now King of the Alliance. He had withdrawn to the quiet surroundings of his hunting lodge. There, he would be the perfect victim.
Perfect victim, huh? Well, let's see what we've got here.
According to scouts, King Robert spent most of his time strolling around his hunting lodge garden, reciting poetry. Soon his poetry would turn into mournful ballads. The vengeful evil thirsted to defeat the Alliance's king and mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Whoops, of course, I really mean that he wanted to take all of King Robert's cookies away. Better play it safe, or the age classification folks will be after me. Before that, however, the ultimate evil had to do a bit of work on the dungeon. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to fund even a small army made up of a few orcs.
Let's see, what do we have here? Got some rooms. Let's mine here first. How many little snots do we have?
The warmongering evil had hired the first orc. As ancient wisdom says, violence is a solution, usually the only one.
Alright, whatever. We'll just mine this stuff for now. Oh, there's some stuff here too. Shall also mine that. Faster.
Another orc entered the service of the military-savvy evil. The horde was growing and prospering. The steady pounding in the rocks had given rise to overworld rumors of a new dungeon. A group of heroes set out to plunder its riches, and the ultimate evil was already looking forward to this visit. The time to attack appeared to be right. On the
Destroy
stone,
the
in the
Alliance's
tavern of a
village.
small, miserable village, some adventurers gathered. They were acquiring Dutch courage for their visit to the dungeon by downing several beers. The dungeon had to be destroyed.
What do these guys think they're doing?
The heroes didn't know what had hit them, as several orcs bore down from nowhere and annihilated them. This group of heroes had plundered their last dungeon, but there would be more.
I can't select multiple ones. Can I like just pick up my orcs and throw them here? No, I cannot. Cannot. lot of gold here. Alright, so how do we destroy the Alliance's village?
The ultimate evil should never forget to keep a watchful eye on its beer and gold stores. If its creatures can't help themselves whenever they need to, they will get angry. Fast.
Okay, I should probably make a brewery for a bit.
The first brewery was completed. Soon beer would be flowing like a river, and an Oktoberfest atmosphere would pervade all. Would the ultimate evil put the beer baron out of business? Ugh, such a duff reference.
Gobblebot.
The ultimate evil slowly made itself cozy underground. Although this was a sensible decision, there was a large and lovely overworld out there, just waiting to be destroyed.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
It's payday.
Nice chunk of stuff to mine here.
A delicious rumble announced the fact that the village's last house had crashed to the ground. Ha! There would be no more heroes meeting there to seek out the dungeon of the destruction-hungry evil. The hunting lodge of King Robert lay in the north. It was there that the ultimate evil would finally get its long-awaited revenge. However, it looked pretty damn well guarded. Maybe it should first visit the cave to the west, inhabited by a clan of goblins, where the cunning evil could do a little negotiating.
Sure, let us negotiate with the goblins.
The goblin leader prostrated himself joyfully before the ultimate evil, and immediately dispatched 2 goblins into its dungeon with a few plans for a new room, a tinkerer's cave. This was built as quickly as possible.
Let me see. Tinker's Cave.
The Tinkerer's Cave was built. It could, however, only be used as a warehouse, as it lacked the workshop that the insidious evil's goblins needed. Quick as a flash, Evil placed a creator mat in the Tinkerer's Cave.
Erect a creato mat. How do I do that? Oh, I need more gold. Alright, I guess we wait a bit. Where did my orcs go? Went in the cave. Okay. Anything else here? If not, I'll probably just get them out of the cave. Other dungeon. Apart from your dungeon and the overworld, there may be other cellars, vaults, and dungeons. They do not have their own mini-maps. However, you can use the region panel on the left above the map of the overworld to select your creatures. In a production room such as the Tinker's Cave, various work units will be shown in the details window at the bottom. You can select each unit individually and set a research item for production. Alright, can we build that thing now? Alright, we need to create a bit more room here. Whoops.
The Tinker's Cave was still lying there completely useless. The forgetful evil should place a creator mat in there soon so that this room can be productive.
I'm trying. Can't even rotate this thing. There we go.
A sparkling new creator mat graced the Tinker's Cave of the expansion-hungry evil. A goblin would be able to work well in here, producing toolboxes. A few of these boxes would now be needed in order to invent a trap. The moody evil waited patiently.
Okay, where do I want these guys to go? Apart from the little snotty creatures will quickly grow bored when they're working. If they've gotten too bored, they'll wander through your dungeon looking for a diversion. This often ends up in them abusing little snotch, which prevents the lads from doing their job. In addition, boredom dissipates slowly over time, and there will be other ways of doing so later in the game. Okay. Let's see what we can do here for now. Oh, we have to research a trap. Let's see. Oops. There we go.
Payday.
Research underway.
The fortress could already be made out in the distance. The walls were lined with crossbowmen. A head-on assault would undoubtedly prove suicidal here.
I see. I guess they don't want us to attack here yet. See how's this trap going? I wonder if I need to make another creato mat. Not enough gold again. Can't tell what this guy's doing. Come on, research. this supposed to do here? Oh, exploding treasure chest. I need 500 gold to research that? Well, that's not cool. For now, let's just get this item.
The horde came across a stray goblin by the roadside, who apparently constituted the sad remains of one of the hunting lodge's attack units. This miserable being joined the army of the powerful evil with a grateful whimper.
Okay, good. Let's get you back in the dungeon then. And these guys will just guard this area for now. While I have enough gold to research that trap now. That's a good thing I set up the orcs here.
As cowardly as the goblins were, their creativity more than made up for this. They proudly presented the treacherous evil with their plan for a devious trap. With a silent, evil cackle, it quickly buckled down to setting the trap.
Okay. Okay, this thing is what was preventing. Since these are regular gold vein or high gold veins, where we get very little gold, but we can make a bunch of them. That's right, place those traps.
Job done. The trap was finished and ready to be found by a hero. This is going to be so much fun. Just at that moment, a particularly powerful dwarf warrior appeared in the dungeon. How had he suddenly arrived at this precise time was indeed most odd, but his presence was more than welcome. He was going to be a guinea pig for the trap.
Watch out for the trap.
Even this strong dwarf warrior didn't stand a chance against the treacherous traps and powerful monsters of the invincible evil. He bit the dust. So much for a game of dwarves. The dungeon's defenses were now clearly much improved, but the hunting lodge still remained well protected and impregnable. There was nothing that the ultimate evil could do. The task was impossible. So the evil withdrew, bent and broken, let feelings of revenge ebb away, and instead took up looking after those cute, teeny-weeny trees. What are they called again? Bonsai, yes, that's it. The end. Pretty unsatisfactory, huh? Of course, that wasn't the end. In reality, the indefatigable evil paid the Goblin Cave another little visit. The goblin leader would hopefully spit out something useful after a few more slaps.
Sure, let's go back there, I guess. Beat up the goblin chieftain. Alright, let's bring everyone then if we're gonna beat him up.
The expansion-driven evil couldn't wait to explore the further possibilities of the Tinkerer's Cave. In particular, a hospital seemed a useful way to cure its ailing units. It set about asking for this to be researched.
Research new room. 750 gold. That's so much gold. Too much gold.
A few hard slaps were enough to motivate the leader of the goblins to help the ultimate evil. As it transpired, there was an old tunnel which had been previously used as an escape route. This connected the Goblin Cave with the vaults of the Hunting Lodge. The goblin leader voluntarily made a goblin assassin available to the hard-hitting evil to help infiltrate the lodge.
Okay.
The cheerful
Take your
evil was
goblin
pleased
assassin
with this
safely through
support.
the
An
underground.
assassin was a decent melee fighter, but its actual strength lay in its ability to make itself invisible. This was, of course, tested out immediately. Despite the powerful invisibility skill, it was advisable for the ultimate evil to be cautious. Some opponents had such highly trained observation skills that they were actually able to see invisible units. A locked door prevented the assassin from progressing. It would have taken a long time for him to have opened it with sheer brute force using weaponry. Thankfully, he had a suitable skill with which he could deactivate doors, and more importantly, traps.
I'm very close to dying with this guy. Oh, there's a health potion here though. Let's save here, why don't we?
The on-the-ball evil recognized that the warrior princess there was extremely powerful. The goblin assassin would be best advised to avoid any contact with her. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Have they? It's fine. Let's, throw you here. Oh, we've got so much gold now. Watch how this person moves.
A Gobobot was being forced to make miserable repairs in the lodge. A brief feeling of what it thought might be sympathy passed through the sensitive evil, but this actually turned out to be a mighty belch. Naturally, it would free the useful Gobobot anyway. The charitable evil had researched the hospital. This would enable its units to quickly recover from their injuries, once it had been built, that is.
Alright, Let's build a
The caring
hospital.
evil had good-naturedly built a hospital for its suffering creatures. It, however, still lacked a hospital bed. Little Snots would then bring any units there that had been injured in the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't have a bed yet. Let's go back here. Let's go invisible for a bit, and then we'll kill this guy.
Payday. Elated by the assassin's attempt at rescuing it, the Gobobot joined the horde and succeeded in showing its tormentors a real hot time. Its ability to more or less ignore ranged damage and set fire to large areas would come in very handy.
Nice. Could use some more gold though. That's right, keep burning things. I do need more money for that hospital bed right now. Let's see, where else can I mine for gold? Is that, is this spot? Like, I need to get to it. Can almost make a hospital bed. Oh,
The first hospital bed had been built. Wounded units could now be healed in the hospital. Little Snots would also be able to bring defeated creatures here so that they could be nursed back to health.
nice. I think we're good.
The hunting lodge was completely destroyed. The vengeful evil gave itself a very self-satisfied pat on the back. The time was right to concentrate on King Robert. He was in his renowned garden reciting his much less renowned love poems. The lyrically challenged evil had no time for poetry and would soon make this tangibly clear to him.
Where are my orcs actually?
Roses are red. The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal.
Okay.
Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south.
Kill the king's pixie.
The pixie buzzed over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil, the annoying little pixie, had spoken her last healing spell. The crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wings. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his early demise.
Alright, let's try. Can I see how much health he has? 600 and something or another. So what we can probably just do then is get all of our guys together. Start fighting him, and then while we're fighting him, go here and do a sneak attack on him. There we go. That'll work.
King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time
Alright,
was
there's a
up.
book here. Oh well,
The
I missed the
demigod
book.
Protos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swamplands to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by ensuring his untimely passing. Besides, the Nagas could prove to be valuable allies.
Alright, we are... Yeah, I think we will stop there for tonight. Just a short intro to this game. But yeah, what do you think of it so far? I think it's not bad. It's like, you know, very easygoing. Doesn't take itself too seriously. And it seems relatively easy to play so far. So yeah, I'll probably go back to it some other time. But for now, this will be the end of the stream for tonight. For those still around, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed seeing this game tonight. Next stream is going to be tomorrow night, where I think we're going to be playing more Don't Starve together with Kleewalk and company. But yeah, other than that, take it easy and have a good night.